Friends, we are continuing this book called The Salamander and the Manger. And today we're going to hear about the owl who watched the world. So it was a cold morning in the little town of Bethlehem. Winds from the desert blew through the village. People wrapped themselves in cloaks and rushed past one another. More people than usual were in the village, and there was tension in the air. The crowds buzzed with worry about the emperor's census. What did it mean? Higher taxes? New regulations? The residents of Bethlehem were stressed and complained about all the people streaming into town. There were long lines at the market and at the well. The streets were crowded with people and animals. There were no places left to stay in town. When the people needed a respite from their anxious conversations about the census, they talked about Godfrey. Godfrey was a small brown owl who had taken up residence under an open eave of the stable just outside the town of Bethlehem. At night, the owl perched atop the stable and gazed over the town with golden eyes. Owls, said one of the town's teachers, were not native to the area and were considered unlucky. Other people found Godfrey's nighttime hooting disruptive to their sleep. They hollered at him in anger and waved their fists, but Godfrey ignored them and sat still on his perch, surveying the village. No one was more annoyed by Godfrey's presence than the cow who ruled the stable. Godfrey had not asked for permission to perch on the roof or sleep in the eaves. He apparently did not understand that nothing happened in the stable without the cow's permission. When the cow attempted to speak to him in an increasingly angry and strident tones, Godfrey simply tucked his head under his wing. The owl's hooting was particularly unbearable to the cow. No sooner had she gotten all the animals quiet and in their proper places at night than the owl would start hooting. While the other animals seemed able to sleep without difficulty, the cow stayed awake and grumbled to herself about the noise. When she asked Esme the spider how she was able to sleep with all that racket, Esme replied that she found Godfrey's hooting to be quite soothing. Upon his arrival in Bethlehem, Godfrey had lived in a country of trees and rivers. He loved to soar through the night sky to feel the lift of the wind and its flow over his wings, and to watch his own shadow glide over the landscape in the moon's light. There were little towns scattered throughout Godfrey's home country. He was a watcher, always observing the small things around him and below him. Godfrey was intrigued by the behavior of people who inhabited his country's villages. He saw how a smile or a gentle touch, or conversely a word or a touch given in anger, could alter someone's day. He noticed, too, how those small gestures, repeated over time, shaped how people viewed themselves and how they responded to the world. Similarly, he was aware that a shift in the wind or a change in the light can make a difference throughout all of nature. It was his awareness of small things like a shift in the atmosphere so slight that he could not identify its source that led him to Bethlehem. From his perch on the roof of the stable, Godfrey gazed at the town and its people. He noticed the heightened emotions of the travelers and residents. He sensed the tension and uncertainty of the crowds. He listened to the wind and blinked his golden eyes, sensing the mysterious change that would soon shift the world. As he watched, Godfrey saw a very pregnant woman with an older man following the innkeeper to the stable. The couple looked exhausted. Instinctively, the owl knew that they were connected to the change he felt coming. The cow began to bellow as the innkeeper brought the couple into the stable, and Godfrey smiled to himself at the cow's predictable response. Godfrey had chosen not to respond to the cow's irritation since his arrival, but simply watched and waited for a time when his kindness might be better received. As night fell, a great star rose over the stable. As the star's light grew, Godfrey lifted into the air, circled high over the stable, the light making his wings look like an angel. Godfrey noticed a little unicorn with a golden horn coming down the path toward the stable. The owl smiled. He and the unicorn were old friends, as unicorn's path had crossed Godfrey's on more than one occasion. The unicorn's gift to nudge others toward greater kindness, often without their awareness, made a difference in the world, like an air current bringing the relief of rain to a desert. Meanwhile, things were not going well in the stable. The new parents were tired and not sure how to soothe the baby. The baby, sensing his parents' anxiety, cried louder. The cow was busy trying to force all the animals into her idea of a perfect Christmas card scene. The other animals were trying to follow her increasingly confusing direction. Despite the star's soothing light, the stable was filled with tension. Godfrey swooped low to the stable and through the door, gently brushing the cow's face with his wing, before landing silently on the edge of the manger. He turned his golden eyes toward the cow, who stopped fussing and looked at Godfrey. Godfrey smiled at the cow and said, "Take a breath. Make one small change." The cow did as he suggested and breathed deeply. Then she looked past the animals she'd been scolding and gazed at the young mother, cradling the fussy child. The cow, an experienced mother herself, nudged the mother's arm into a better position so the baby would be more comfortable. The unicorn waved his horn gently, and as the baby watched the reflection of the starlight bouncing off the golden horn, He stopped crying. This is a child of small beginnings, said Godfrey to the cow. The unicorn moved around behind the mother and father so they could lean against his warm back. Peace filled the stable, and all the animals were able to relax. This child will show the world that small beginnings can lead to great change, said the unicorn. Yes, and starting right here in the stable, Godfrey said. God bless you, my friends.